Good morning. Good morning. Good, good morning. Got 3 likes. Who's here? Who's saying hello? Good morning. Check this out. Does anybody see the comments here this morning? Where are the comments? There you go. That's correct, Jolie. There's my comments. Thanks, Eggs. It's time for everybody to just say good morning to each other while we fly around like bumblebees. Rimsky Korsakov. Rimsky Korsakov is the composer. We might get asked that later this week. Shh. Pop quiz. Feel like we should be watching a cartoon right now. You guys want to see cartoon mushrooms? Give me 5 people say, Pops, show us a cartoon mushroom. Cartoon mushroom. Cartoon mushrooms. First thing in the morning. Cartoons. Let's see what this. What's the other side look like? Boop. Boom. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Give me 5 people that were okay starting off flying around like bumblebees. Give me 5 people that was, once in a while we have to be bumblebees. Can't always start, the smooth music. Let's do bumblebees. Anybody else was a bumblebee with me this morning? Who was being the bumble? Who was bumbling the bee? Being the bumble. You know what I'm talking about. Ego's been flying around for a while. You know what? Actually, that's a pretty. Can you imagine the speed that those guys had to be playing with when they're in that orchestra? It's pretty impressive. Right? No, that's what I'm thinking. Not easy to play. Okay? It's 1 grain bag per pop soil bag. Yeah, that's a good combination. Don't hesitate, Herbie Von Werby Kebab, to go 2. 2 spawn bags and 1 soil bag works too. But in a way, sometimes that's a little too much spawn. So, 1 to 1.5 bags. Because if you remember the soil bags are 3 pounds. So 3-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1 ratio, they're pretty close to the same thing. Okay? Yeah, 1.5-to-1 ratio there, Herbie. Herbie von Werby Kabop. Happy birthday again. I got a quick question before we get going. I got a quick question to the crew. Did it work? Did it work? Every one of us got involved. Group activity. Every single one of us here. We're trying to make it happen. But I want to know, did it work? Happy Dirt Dude says, I bet it did. Did it really work? It's a quick question. Let's go back. Did it work, Kim? Did we save the daylight? Did it work? I was thinking about it all morning. I wondered, did we save the daylight? Weren't we all trying to save some daylight savings time? Jesus Christ, everyone but Australia. Did it? Did it work? Did we save the daylight? Heroes. Nerdy. We rescued it. It's saved for next spring. Penny pack. Is this coming Tuesday? No problem, Penny. Good news is I'll be there. Freeze, we didn't do that, Pops. I was thinking about it this morning. I'm not even sure it worked. It worked for some of us. Some of us didn't even change. Does Utah change? Free. Does Arizona change? Aren't there a few states that don't change? Mushy, I know you change. You're gonna change out of your shorts one of these days. Free. Did it? I don't think, there's a couple of places that don't change. So don't try to act like you were trying to help save daylight with the rest of us. You guys just let daylight be on its own. That's what I thought, Free. So based off of that, Arizona's just like, look, hands off. Daylight savings time, you're on your own, pal. Daylight, you're on your own. Why would you do that to daylight, Free? We kind of need daylight around here sometimes. Free, like, Arizona's like, F daylight. RX is, I don't even like daylight, Pops. Do you know how much more cool stuff I do at night? That's when my artist starts to flow. Mushy, I love you. From the bottom of my heart. I never gave you the lecture I was going to give you, but I don't need to. You know I love you, and don't go missing, or I have to come find you. A real quick note I saw this morning, I was really pleased. You know all this election stuff that's going on? Election this, election that. We've tried very hard to not be political here. I used to even have political opinions. My political opinions are shrinking and getting smaller, and I don't care. And I feel like I'm not a good citizen sometimes. But by the same token, sometimes I don't want to be a citizen. I was a Marine, man. I was ready to bleed for this place. I'd still bleed for you guys. I mean that sincerely. And I'd also go kill Putin. I'd have no problem if it meant I have to die in the process, not a problem. But I'm not doing that for America. I'm doing that for the world. I'm doing that for mankind. Plus, I want to go down in history as being the guy that did the guy. Wouldn't you like to be the guy that did the guy? I get a little tired of, I still, I'm embarrassed because I know Marines, but I get tired of flags, I get tired of boundaries, I get tired of all of that. Rodney King said it best, can't we just get along? But having said that, politics out of it. Legalization of certain things is super important. Ohio, way to go. Boom. Ohio. Looks like you Ohioans finally got on board and are going to go legalize marijuana. Good job, kids. Ohio. Why is it important to Pops? Because I have to drive through Ohio to go see Sandy and the Mush Fest down in Tennessee. Every time we drive through Ohio, I feel like you're ready to, like, you're one sniff test away from going to jail in Ohio. They're very, very, the state troopers and all of that on the freeways, they're rough in Ohio. I hate driving through Ohio to get somewhere. But you can't hurry either, because they'll nail you if you hurry. So you put your cruise control on 71 and you pray as you drive through Ohio. Well, now it's going to feel a little different. Sorry, Ohio. So, politics. The one neat thing I think came out of politics yesterday. Do any of you guys live in Ohio? Weren't you afraid to drive down your freeways? Your state troopers are driving these little gray cars that nobody can see them either. And like, next thing you know, boom, they're on you. Weed laws are racist. They're not looking out for older white men. Is that right? They profile it. Are they profiling shrooms for older white men? The one neat thing I saw this morning that came out of yesterday's, again, I'm not being a political guy. Has anybody ever known anybody or heard a story about people being wrongfully convicted? You know how crappy jail is when you deserve it? Like, you're really supposed to be there because you really did do the crime. You should do the time. You know what I'm talking about? You kind of deserve it. If they didn't catch me for this one, they missed like the last 72 that I did. I probably could have been 72 of them already. They finally got me. I sort of deserve this. I've sat in jail going, I hate it in here, but I sort of deserve it. Come to Jesus, not the guy in Australia. Figure it out. Get out of here, be a better person. How hard would it be, Marmars, on your free vacation? How hard would it be if you're in there wrongfully convicted? Wrongfully convicted. You had nothing to do with the crime. Jury went, boop, guilty. The story of the hurricane. That's right, Streety. I can't even imagine where my brain would be if I was that guy. It's bad enough. I've been accused of things that I know I didn't do, and that hurts. But can you imagine? Boop, that's it. 3 hots in the cot, that's it. See you in 25 years. And D, it happens a lot. I think it happens a lot in a lot of cases because people need to get their closure rates. But I'm not trying to talk about negative police stuff here or anything like that, or prosecutors. We all know slime balls are everywhere. I'm just trying to put myself in the position of a wrongfully convicted guy sitting in jail, or lady sitting in jail. My mind can't wrap itself around it. I don't know how I would be able to handle it. Every single day, Penny, every single day in and day out, and everybody in there, of course, the guy that says that he's not guilty? Of course he's the guilty, because everybody in jail is not guilty. We all say so. Why am I mentioning all of this? That every once in a while, Jackson, thank goodness, thank the universe. You know the Innocence Project? Boy, is that a good situation. That group that's the lawyers and young lawyers coming up through law school, clerks, stuff like that. They volunteer to the Innocence Project. There's a couple of other ones. Barry Sheck does his DNA stuff. They're trying to find people that have been wrongfully convicted and get them freed and exonerated. That's a pretty high calling. It's not like the guy in jail can pay you a whole lot of money. Most of those free the innocent lawyers are not doing it for the big money. Kind of like us mushroom people. Can you imagine? So the reason I mention all of this, Jesus Christ, that's absolutely unnecessary. Come on. Don't make me block you today. Come on. You're funny, but that's unnecessary. We're talking serious right now. I'm talking about people that are wrongfully convicted in jail. And I'm asking you to put yourself in their shoes for just a moment. Thanks, JC. Put yourself mentally in their shoes for just a minute. The Innocence Project, one of those projects, got a hold of this guy in New York, found out about his case, black fellow in New York, figured out that he had been wrongfully convicted, proved it, pulled all the strings that, by the way, how long does it take to get you out of jail once they know you're really not guilty? About another 3 years. About another 3 years. Once they say, okay, you're right, we messed up, but it's going to take you about 3 years to get out of here now. You know what I'm talking about. So this gentleman, and I use that word highly with honor, this gentleman in New York, wrongfully convicted, does all this time in jail, I don't know all the specifics, gets exonerated, gets out of jail. A lot of us would have kind of a crappy attitude. I might even have something against the system. I might even be so pissed that I do something that I should go back to jail for. This gentleman, wrongfully convicted, yesterday was elected to a board on the New York City City Council. He ran for New York City Council, was elected. He looks as clean cut and square with this guy. I got goosebumps. I wish I had the guy's exact name. But I was blown away this morning going, that is the way to get out of jail. That is, don't think yourself a New York City councilman's making a lot of money. They're not. I believe that this man's going back into the system to make a difference. Dee just said it. He chose to advocate over anger. Man, there is a role model. There is a role model. Going to jail for something you didn't do, and you get out, and instead of blowing up the jail and being all mad and taking it out and becoming some kind of social ridiculous, you dive back in, you put a suit and a tie on, you go back in, you say, elect me, I'm going to make a difference. So, in the deepest despair, when I would have been in jail, and I don't know if I'd have ever seen myself be the New York City councilman. So let's think of that. I wish I had the guy's name right now. You guys can look it up. But he was elected yesterday. And I can't be happier to see, now when I talk about politics, that's the kind of politics I like to talk about. Okay, Higgs, what do you think? That kid might have been in class right behind us. Yusuf Salim. Is that his name, Alan? His name needs to be trumpeted very loudly. Yusuf Salim. And I'm really think that's a great story. Okay, let's do a quick giveaway. I want people to take this kind of stories to their soul. To their soul. You're never all the way down. You're never completely defeated. And if you keep giving goodness to the universe, I believe this man plans on continuing to give goodness to the universe. That's my belief. And I send him mine. Let's do a giveaway. It's going to be pretty easy this morning. Okay? I'm going to read 3 statements. You guys are going to tell me if they're true or false. The first 3 people I see on my screen, to get them correct, we'll move forward to the spin to win round. Unless you've won in the last 3 or 4 or 5 days, and I can remember. If that's the case, I'm going to move on past your name so someone else wins more recently. Okay? Because if you noticed what happened yesterday, we tried to do a never winner before to get things started. We had like 3 people here that have never won before. I think we're covering the bases pretty good. We're doing real good on that. And I'm proud. I'm proud of the people that don't jump in when it's not their turn. Okay? I'm going to read 3 statements to you. Here we go. The only football team to have a perfect season is the Green Bay Packers. True or false? In American football, a field goal is 2 points. True or false? And thirdly, baseball is the most popular spectator sport in the United States. True or false? Go. Let me see your 3 answers on one line. Okay, wait. Whoa. Okay, we got a 1 there. Hold on. Good enough. I got my answers here. And it's neat because none of you have won recently. Okay? If 2 of you, I don't know if I've ever won before. So that's really neat. Here's your answers. False, false, false. Your answers are false, false, false. The only football team to have a perfect season was the Miami Dolphins, 1972. Complete regular season and all the way through to the Super Bowl. I think they won 17 games, didn't they, Streety? Number 2, false. A field goal is 3 points in American football. Falsey false. And number 3, baseball is not the most popular spectator sport anymore. It has been overtaken by football. Football is the most popular spectator sport in the United States. About 37% of Americans say it is their favorite sport. I'm in the 37%. It's my favorite sport to watch on TV. To watch live, hockey. Oh, take me to a hockey game, Streety. Okay? You take me to a hockey game. There's nothing more fun because you get to see all the action up and down, not because of the fights, even though those are cool. Up and down, you see so much more action. I need to go to hockey games live, football on TV because timeouts and replays and all that other business. Okay? But free, there is nothing like a hockey game live. Streety knows. Okay? I kind of like the fights. I do. Did I ever tell you guys about my fighting career? I know, Streety. When I come to New Hampshire, we got to go to a game. Okay? We got to go to a game. My nephew, my son, my brother's boy, was this close to getting drafted into the NHL out of college as a hockey player. Went through hockey, he played hockey through college on a scholarship. Little white kid from Southern California. And my brother and him, they decided when he was young, 7, 8 years old, we're going to turn him into a hockey player. He got his own personal coaches. He played for the Ice Dogs, the Junior Kings, he played for all of the teams. And he got so well known in California, my little nephew. You can look him up. His name's Wiggle Kerbrat. Wiggle. His real name's Michael. But we've been calling him Wiggle since he was a little baby, and he wiggled a lot. So to this day, they still call him Wiggle. It's kind of cute. So yeah, we like hockey in our family, but hockey live. Hockey live. I can't skate to save a life. Forget about it. Streety, can you skate? Can you skate, Streety? How about you, Mushmouth? You New Hampshire kids up there. Can you guys skate? Real quick. I don't know why I'm asking this question. We still have to do a spin here. Carlotta, that's his name, Wiggle. I can roller skate. Yeah, that's 4, though. Come on, you get on a blade, right? Skate's only forwards. These kids, man, I'm backwards and in and a spin and wow. Yeah? Not on skateboards. Not on skateboards. Anybody can skate. Who's a heck of an ice skater here? D. Anderson did it on a pond. Cleaning, I'm talking ice. Ice skaters. Big Mike, I'm like you, I can barely walk. Jackie Cat can roller skate, I can picture that. Jackie, have you ever done blades? Jackie, have you ever done blades? How about a glider? Hang glider. Absolutely. Who here's hang glided? Hang glid. I can't skate to save my life. I'm like pretty athletic and I'm really good at certain things. Use my adrenaline and use my aggression, I'll be good at it. Actually coordinated, forget about it. White chocolate, you're off of the cliffs over there in the Del Mar area. Carlsbad, San Diego, all up and down the West Coast. Roller, no blades. Hags, I could picture you and Moms at the roller rink. Did you chase her around? One final thing about the roller guys. So when we were kids, we'd go to the roller rink. You know, the 4-wheel rollers. How come the cool guys always put a garter on their skate? A garter. I can picture it, Hags. I skated so poorly. If you put a garter on your skate, that meant you were like really good. Huh? Who's ever done that? Higgs, were you good enough to put a garter on the skate? That guy was always the coolest guy on the floor. He could do put the leg out, do the one leg. He could spin the girls. He'd get going faster around. Okay? What about that? Do you guys remember it? Who had this? I put a garter. No, I'm not talking to you, Kim. No. You guys, nope. I was trying to fly under the radar. Wait. You guys, I'm going to send pictures. I'll show you a picture of a vintage picture. I'll find one. In Southern California, that was the thing. You had to put a garter on. Yeah, Streety, you put a garter on your skate. Okay? And that's when you look at the guy and go, he can skate. You haven't even seen him skate yet. Okay? Why am I going on? Let's do a spin. I owe somebody something. R&R Shrooms. R&R Shrooms, you got the false correct first. R&R Shrooms. Let's make you number one on the spin to win wheel. Okay? The next person was Pilar. Pilar. You know who you are, Pilar. Okay, Pilar. Pilar's number 2. Okay? Here we go. That's number 2. And then number 3. Oh, before I say number 3, JC, did you guys skate? Do you guys do roller skating in Australia? What's roller skating in Australia like? Huh? Hagues. Sam, you don't know. That's where we hung out. You hung out at the roller rink. You needed to go get a 1-finger lid, something like that. They sold them in the back of the roller rink. Okay? You need a 2-finger lid? Still, it's in the back of the roller rink. Simple. We were degenerates over there. And then there was always a liquor store close by. And you would talk, one of the 18-year-olds, well, then it was 21. You talk somebody into going and buying like enough liquor for everybody. Okay? You guys, you're nothing if you didn't grow up with a roller rink. Okay, here we go. Number R&R. Pops, I won yesterday. I'm Ronnie R&R. I'm taking your name off the list then. Thank you, my friend. Okay, Ronnie Real is R&R. I get it, Ronnie Real. Okay, you know what I'm going to put on here instead? I'm putting on Big Mike. I don't know why, I'm just picking Big Mike. I like Big Mike. Big Mike, you're going to be number 1. Okay? Pilar, you're number 2. You're number 2. And CCS, you guys aren't going to believe it, but my partner CCS was number 3 to save FFF. Okay? So here we go. And looking like Big Mike. Big E, Big Mike. Ronnie put you in his place so Big Mike could win an 1/8 of Ghost. There's an 1/8 in here, 3.5 plus grams. Big Mike, how are you going to get this from me? You know the rule? How do you get this from us? How does it go from us to you? Talk to me. How do you think it happens? Take a quick guess. What happens, Mike? What happens next? Let's see what happens next. Danny's really, what do you got to do now? Send a self-addressed stamped envelope. And that's correct, Big Mike. When do you have to send it? But when? Of course you have to send an address, but when? Quick, come on, Mike. When do you have to send it? Sometime today. Mike's now? Pops, I'll be right back. Sometime today, bro. Immediately? Am I turning into a prize Nazi? Give me 5 people that said Pops is officially a prize Nazi now. I felt like I was a prize Nazi there for about 3 minutes. I was just trying to coach you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay? I didn't. That was a little out of line. All right? 9. You are not a prize Nazi. 9. No prizing for you or for you. I don't want to be a prize Nazi. I felt like one there for about 3 minutes. Mike, you don't have to salute. Don't worry about it. Okay? Surprise Nazi. You know, that was one of the funniest things Saturday Night Live ever did. It was like, now if anybody's out of line, I just tell them, what are you? A driving Nazi? What are you? Like front door open Nazi or whatever their little thing is. You just put Nazi on the end of it, and that's it. That's it. They're screwed. They have to stop. Okay. How important is humidity to growing mushrooms? How important? In Volcanelli, what is this place? Soviet mushroom Russia? How important is humidity? I like the word, somebody just said critical. It is critical. That's the right word. Once we've taken it out of the bag and we've mixed it with substrate and we're making cakes, one of the reasons we have a lid on our tub with a gasket seal, and then we close up the holes, the FAE holes in the tub, is so we can increase our humidity. Can something ever be more than 100% humid? Is that possible? Over 100% humidity. Is it possible? I think that's called rain, right? Or even like somebody just said here, underwater. Underwater, what would the humidity level be underwater? Now, I don't know the answers to these. I'm just asking. Like, once you're like submerged, I don't think you could be dealing with humidity as an issue anymore. Seems to me like 100% is close to wet. Let's just say that. Can we all agree on that? Fulcanelli, can we all agree 100% is just like flat out wet? Right? Has anybody ever tried spraying their cakes with WD-40? Remember we talked about it? Water dispersal 40 tests. Would WD-40 work on our cakes? Satter's you. No. So is there any kind of like silicone waterproof agent that we can shoot on top of our cakes to keep them from getting too wet? Free says 100% humidity is rain, period. That's the end of the story. Humidity. Humidity, humidity, humidity. If I would ask you to study anything, grab a Wikipedia page, read about humidity. It's fascinating and it's incredibly hard to explain because there's different measurements of humidity. There's different ways. There's dew points. There's even opinions about humidity. What we know at the basic grassroots level is all we need to know for our bro grow is the word 90%. That's what we're looking for. From the moment we start our cake to the day we open up that tub for the final day and we're going to harvest, we want our humidities to be at their optimal. You want them to always be over 90%. It's not always possible. What happens often is I have to open up my tub to look at it. Once I open up my tub to look at it, what would happen to the humidity inside the tub? Will it go up or will it go down when I take the lid off? Will it go up? The humidity go up or will it go down when I take the lid off of my tub? I know these are basic questions, but I want us to be thinking. You guys are all correct. It goes down, it drops. That's absolutely right. How can we make the humidity go back up? If it's dropped below 90%, how can I make it go back up? What's my remedy? At home, in my microenvironments. What do I miss? Satter Wolf's got it correct. Do I want to miss the cake? Do I want there to be 100% humidity on the cake level, on the cake surface? That's what misting cakes do. That's raining on the cake. Where do we want to mist? We want to mist on the sides of the tubs so that the water, even when it drips down off the side, it goes between the liner and the tub side, and the liner's protecting the cake. So even when our water drips down, which it eventually does due to gravity, our rivulets of water are going to drip down. Hey, they're creating a little pool below the liner. I don't care. That liner right now is creating humidity for us. And it's protecting the sides and bottoms of my cake from all of the rivulets of water that should be cascading down. We won't really use the word cascade, but slowly drip down the sidewalls. So you guys are right. We mist all around the edges. I do this too. I mist my lid very lightly. I don't want drops coming off of it. But I'd like a little mist right on my lid so it's already built up. So the humidity will gain in there faster. If it's not raining inside my tub, will my humidity level be 99 or below? As long as it's not raining inside. It's probably pretty high. It could be all the way up to a 99 probably. That air, that wet air, it could be all the way up to a 99 inside there. But it's not 100 if it's not raining. Is 99 too high humidity for our mushrooms? Do I have to worry about that? Do I have to worry about that? Is 99 too high? Do I have to be really specific and keep myself right at the 90? Is 99 going to be like, whoa, there we go, jeez. I would submit it's almost impossible to get to 99 as long as you have your ports with filters in them. You'll have some air movement through there. You'll have some air dropping out of there. I would argue you'll probably never really get quite to 99 in there. And if you did, I wouldn't worry about it. We're not worried about over humidity until it reaches saturation or rain. You'll find you'll naturally keep yourself right between 90 and 95 just because the ports are going to do some bleeding. Humidity. As a fruit body swells from a cluster of cells into a mature mushroom, water is lost through evaporation from its surface. So I have a fruit. As it's swelling and maturing, off of the body of the fruit itself, it's evaporating water. We all know that the mushroom itself is made up of 90% water. Only about 10% of that's actually sturdy flesh. If the surrounding air has a low level of humidity, water will evaporate too quickly from the mushroom. stopping it from maturing. Thus, control of humidity in the fruiting space is critical to obtaining a high yield. For many species, including the cubensis that I tend to talk about here, 90 to 95% relative humidity is recommended to initiate primordia formation, pinning, while 80 to 90% is needed for fruit body development. Listen to what it's saying here. When we first start our tubs, our first 10 days of tubs or so, first 3 days or 4 days, after I've made a cake, I put the lid on it, I don't open that tub. 3 or 4 days. So it's sitting in there percolating. And CO2's getting a higher CO2 level than it's going to have for the rest of its life. For the first 3 or 4 days, it's breathing out its CO2. It's breathing in the oxygen that's in the tub when I made it. And out of the air molecules, water molecules in the air, or oxygen molecules in the air. But for my first 3 or 4 days, I don't open it. About day 4, I'm going to open it up. I look at it for the first time. I should see some beginning of white at this point. I should see little splotches of mycelium starting on my cake surface. Day 3 or day 4. I close my lid up. I mist my walls. I want my humidity level at its highest levels in the first 10 days of its growth. That helps initiate the pinning. So every time I take my lid off to look, I might do a little wave to express some of the air out and let some of the new air in. But I'm not too concerned about FAE right now. What I'm concerned about is humidity. So I'm going to close my box back up after a one look, and I'm not going to look again at that box for another 24 hours. Let that CO2 build back up in there. Let it, and it stays dark too, by the way, because we're simulating nature. So now we've got that guy. Day 5, I'll open it up, look at everything, make sure there's no green, make sure I'm seeing progress, wave the lid over the top a little bit, mist my edges, mist my top, boop, stick it back down, let the humidity get back up, let the CO2 get back up. Do that every day. Day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 90% of my cakes by day 10 are covered with white, and you start seeing little primordia right about this time. If you don't see the actual shroom, you'll see little white dots starting to form on your mycelium. This is a signal to change your procedure. Up until now, you've been in the colonizing the cake procedure stage. Now you're going to move to the second to the final stage. Final stage being harvest and dry. Now you're going to move to the fruiting stage. I used to think that I was confused at first. What do I have to do? You have to change the fruiting conditions. I have to move it. I have to put it in a truck and take it over to the fruiting factory now. And I don't understand. What's the difference between this stage and that stage? The only difference is the attention you're going to pay to the cake now. Up until now, you've been on easy street. First 3 or 4 days, you don't even have to look at the guy. Next 6 days, you only have to open it up one time. Recorrect its conditions, close it. Day 11, you're going to now turn into a fan machine. Day 11, you're now going to look at that thing 4 to 6 times per day. You're going to open the lid 4 to 6 times per day. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you opening the lid more now than you were before? We're changing the conditions. We're introducing a new condition to that primordia down there. That primordia has been sitting in there going, that's pretty cool. I just get to sit in here about 95% humidity. It's around 74 degrees. It's in the dark. Nobody bothers me except somebody peeks their head in here once a day. Big deal. I'm used to that. Now all of a sudden you come along and you go, hey, I'm going to change your condition now. I'm going to make you feel like you're going to die. I'm going to scare you into reproducing yourself. The mushrooms in there go, oh my God, how are you going to do that? Go, well, simple. I'm going to visit you 4 to 6 times a day. I'm going to fan the heck out of the top of this so you get fresh oxygen. See, you've been living off that CO2 you like. You need oxygen, pal, so you can reproduce. I need your reproduction gland. That's medicine. So, in order for you to do what I need you to do, I'm gonna start pumping oxygen into you, fresh oxygen, 4 to 6 times a day. I'm also gonna make sure your humidity stays up. I'm also gonna put you on a light cycle. Sorry, sun's up, sun went down. Sun's up, sun went down. How do you like your new conditions now? I hate them. I don't like this at all. I feel like I'm gonna die. Really? What are you gonna do if you're gonna die? I'm gonna make a reproduction organ. I'm gonna make a penis stick out of the ground, and you can chop it off and turn it into medicine. But can I still be mycelium in the cake? I'll do it again 3 or 4 flushes for you if you do. Pop's getting carried away over here. Laura, that's how it works. So our job's then we change the conditions. And we scare it into creating penises. Little penises that'll shoot out little ejaculation spores all over the place, but maybe we'll catch it before it even does that. So we change the conditions to fruiting conditions. We scare our mycelium into reproducing, and then we go rip it off. And if you do it kindly and sweetly, you find out you can do it again out of the same cake. We'll pick up more about this. We talked about humidity right now. We'll talk about air exchanges tomorrow. And we'll spend a little more time tomorrow talking about scaring the hell out of our mushrooms. Give me 5 people that can't wait. Give me 5 people can't wait to talk about scaring the hell out of our mushrooms. And what the general effect is. Okay, I want to do a reading with you guys. I feel like I was George Carlin there for a minute. Did Pops just do a Shroom Carlin? All right. That was close to a Shroom Carlin. When Pop's talking to mushrooms, and the mushrooms talk back. Okay? Here we go. Instead of breaking, I have this reading for you. This is a beautiful reading. I might do 2. Cleaning, I love George Carlin too. Okay? Summer week, you're going to make that happen. Good job. Anthony says Pops is nothing but a fun guy. Shut up, Anthony. Okay? Here we go. Have any of you ever done any glass blowing? Glass blowers blow my mind, for want of a better phrase. Glass blowers. Do your cheeks get tired? I can't even blow up a balloon. After I blow up like 2 balloons, I'm like, I'm done. Give me that machine that you can just pump the air in this thing. CCS has tried it? Really? I mean, when you see a glass blower, it's pretty amazing. And then now this art And oh man, this glass pieces that people are doing and stuff. It is. And you're not allowed a lot of mistakes, are you? You can't. Badgie would know. Badgie knows about it. You can't make a whole lot of mistakes, can you? Like you get a one shot at it and that's it? Or can you just like reheat? Can you just reheat and reblow? I really don't know. What an art, though. It's bad for your health. I believe that. Everything's bad for our health, Padgy. Come on. Bet you walleye fishing's bad for our health. The glassblower knows. While in the heat of the beginning, any shape is possible. Once hardened, the only way to change is to break. Carlotta, you know that was cool. The glass blower knows while in the heat of the beginning, any shape is possible. Once hardened, the only way to change is to break. Let's talk about that for a second. Cleaning, I have to get to New Hampshire. We're going hiking, we're going glass blowing, we're going fishing, we're going to the roller rink, we're hockey games. I mean, we had a lot of stuff to plan. With the precise tools, this is slightly personal. Slightly. Pops was in the Marine Corps, and I got a woman Marine pregnant while I was in the Marines. Young Marine. And at the time, in my mind, truly, prettiest girl on the base. Marine Corps Air Station El Toro. 1979. And I'm like, I like that girl. And we were young and dumb. And wild. And she had a wild side on her, too, because there aren't that many women that join the Marines. Okay? And she was strong and super smart. Really smart, which is attractive to Pops. But pretty. And of course, you're starving for female companionship when you're in the service. There's 100 guys to one girl. She basically has the pick of the litter. So if you get picked, you kind of feel like, hey, I'm kind of important. Is any of this resonating with anybody? Even if you weren't in the service? So one thing leads to another, and we're kids. And I get this beautiful girl pregnant. Well, my first reaction is, run. I don't want to do this. Her first reaction is what moms do. I'm going to have a baby. I wasn't feeling the love of marriage. Couldn't get there. My commanding officer, I'll never forget him, redheaded fella, Captain Turner, calls me into his office. He'd found out, okay, by the way, she's in air flight control. She's learning how to be an air flight controller. She's going to be calling the Marine Corps planes into landing and takeoff. And I'm working on the airplanes. I'm in the air squadron, the Black Sheep Squadron. And so she's going to school at the base, and she's spending most of her time at the flight tower and all of that. Well, I guess when you're pregnant, it starts to show a little bit. And her commanding officer finds out that one of his subordinates is pregnant. He needs to do something about it. He reaches out to my commanding officer, Captain Turner, and says, I think it's that corporal kid is the father. Captain Turner calls Pops into his office. So, heard's got a girl pregnant. I'm like, how did he know? Plus, how's it any of his business? He made it his business. He did something you're not supposed to do, but we all do. In the Marines, you do whatever you want. Commanding officer said, I'm gonna give you a direct command to marry that woman Marine. And I need you to have it done by the end of the week. What are you gonna do? You just got a direct command from a commanding officer to go do something. Today, if they tried that, you'd laugh, you'd go get a lawyer, or whatever. They couldn't pull that on you. They couldn't. I would have just gone to his commanding officer and said, hey, I don't want to do this. But back then, I got shotgunned by my own captain. Brock's mom didn't mind because she wants to have the baby. Of course, Pops is a catch. No. She was too. But she could have figured it out in a place that I wasn't really able to. I'm 22 years old at the time, Anthony. 22. 21 to 22. I'm telling you guys this is a story for a reason. So now I'm married to a woman Marine, and they give you base housing. They stick you over and put you in this housing area on the base. It's pretty nice. It was kind of like a condominium situation. And she gets a little bit of prenatal care, but if you remember correctly, Marines are a part of the Navy. We actually belong to the Navy, even though we're the president's own and we could be called out without any act of Congress. We're the only military force that can be called without an act of Congress, just on the president's whim, because he's the commander-in-chief. But we're part of the Navy. We don't have our own hospitals. We don't have some of our own stuff. We belong to the Navy. So, Long Beach Naval Hospital was the closest Navy hospital to our base, and where we went to get Brock's prenatal care taken care of. I will say this without there was a time where I drank and I used drugs at this. How terrible the medical the medicine was at the Long Beach Naval Hospital. It was archaic, to say the least. They barely knew. I mean, it was just not a good hospital. It was a Navy hospital. They're not really set up for long-term prenatal or postnatal issues. It's not what they're set up for. They're set up for the guy that got his leg cut off. We'll get you, an amputee and teach you how to walk again. That kind of hospital. And this is way back in the day, too. Before even the VA, everything started getting better. The medical care today is just, it's on point. But it wasn't then. And this is a big part of the story. Brock's mom's pregnant with him. And in today's medicine, they do tests on women, amniocentesis tests, somewhere around their 6th and 7th month, where they're able to pull out fluids from the woman, and through laboratory diagnosis, they can tell you if there's problems with the fetus. They can tell you well in advance if there's going to be a problem that's going to develop. And nowadays, you know what they can do? And not just nowadays, it's been quite a long time. Now they'll go in and they'll rescue the baby early. They'll take the baby out early so it doesn't have an opportunity to have all the rest of its problems develop. And then that baby will live in an incubator, and they'll nurse it along to where it gets fully developed. And a lot of our medicine, natal medicine, is aimed at that now. Summer knows. That naval hospital didn't know anything. Either they didn't know about this, or they didn't practice it, or they didn't, who knew? Brock's going along inside mom, and about on month 6 to 7, starts developing. His mom had a woman size issue with her uterus, not correctly developed in her own. And she's got a little baby growing in there. And at about day 6th and 7th month, Brock got pinned inside his mom. Upper body pinned. Certain shape. His legs still moved, and he was still kicking to her stomach and little bumps. And oh, see, I'm bumping. Oh, look at the baby's moving. Outward, seemingly, it seemed like the baby was moving around and everything was fine. But he was pinned inside there, and his upper body didn't develop like yours and mine completely. A massive amount of issues go with that. I look back and I drugged back and I drank at this and everything. If only they'd have known at month 7 we could have taken the boy out. So he ends up with a very, very rare form called arthrogryposis. Arthro, think about it. Arthro is your joints. Elbow joints, shoulder joints, wrist joints. You'll notice that. There's a problem with these joints. They were never developed correctly. Then the musculature that's attached. And it goes further down. And cleft palates. And club feet. And misshapen skulls. And the list goes. And your baby's born. And guess where they're supposed to take care of him? At the same naval hospital. The same naval hospital. Meanwhile, I'm a full-time Marine, and his mom's supposed to be a full-time Marine. She's still supposed to be learning how to fly direct airplanes. I'm still supposed to be working on him. And we have a little baby living in the hospital at Long Beach Naval Hospital for the first year of his life. In and out of every operation you could ever have. Living in a little plastic tube. And you get to go and visit him for a few hours a day till they kick you out. I'll give a lot of credit to the Marine Corps. They couldn't have been more supportive in terms of our schedules and being able to get there and be with him. And they didn't redeploy me. They kept me at the same station. But I'm telling you guys this story for a real reason. One, I want you to know Brock. I know you know him, but you don't know him. What happens with arthrogryposis babies? Don't ask why. 80, 90% of them are male. It's a very rare baby disease. 80 or 90% are male. Another thing that happens, and I'm proud of this, thank goodness, is they're abnormally smart. Their brains, they have a little bit, from the beginning, they're smarter. Your little arthrogryposis kids are like walking geniuses. Now it's what you do with that eventually. But one of the reasons is because they have to figure out how to do something in a way that we don't. If I have to figure out, if I want to get something, I just reach over and I grab it. Brock's 2 years old and he wants to go get a rattle, or he wants to know what's inside the cupboard, just like any terrible two. He had to figure out a way to get over to that cupboard, get up inside the cupboard, because he was still a terrible two. So he figured out a way to do it. Like, you're looking at him going, you're a little gymnast. What the hell are you, like, what? It's a little brain. How do I get this? Their brains are growing faster too. So it's nature's sort of compensation. And they all end up being some kind of a weird poet. And part of it is because you got to face the world. Some of us are broken before we're born. That's my moral of this story. The glass blower, he blew it on this one. Some of us are broken before we're born. And it's nobody's fault. And nobody did anything wrong. And two kids just were goofy Marines. But you're broken before you're born sometimes. Now what do you do with it? Do you stay broken? Or do you get through college? Do you become a poet? Do you become one of the kindest, nicest people you can? Do you never hurt a soul? Let me read this to you and then I'll let you guys go. With the precise tools, and I told you guys this for a very specific reason. It's therapy for me to tell you. And guess what? On the 10th month, Brock's still in the hospital. And I'm still like, I'm showing up at the hospital, husband, wife, this situation. I'm not in love with this lady. I have to face this. I'm in this weird dynamic relationship where I didn't even want to be. But I'm in love with this little baby. And I got to take care of this little baby for the rest of my life. And I'm going to be with this lady. But in what kind of a situation, what kind of relationship? We were married 10 months, almost to the day. Because I had to listen to what the commanding officer said. Off we go to City Hall. 2 Marine friends came with us as witnesses. And I'm able to bring back the wedding certificate to show my commanding officer. Who's ever been forced to be married by the Marines? Almost to the day, month 10, I was like, we got our divorce. We were married 10 months. Long enough to make things legal with Brock, legal with me, okay with the Marines, and okay between us where we weren't having some fake relationship. Where we had to pretend to be something that neither of us really were. And you're talking 2 kids in 1980. It isn't like the most enlightened period in our culture. With the precise tools of modern medicine, unborn children who are malforming or experiencing obstructions can be operated in utero. Nowadays, they could operate them right inside. Profoundly, these state-of-the-art techniques reveal a deep, timeless truth about growth and healing. You guys want me to read the rest of this? It's only 2 paragraphs long. It was an introduction to this reading right here that I'm trying to set straight with us all. This profoundness. Let me read the rest of this. Profoundly. Okay. For just as amazing as the facts of these operations, listen, is the fact that these surgeries leave no scars once the infant is born. They're operating so well on these in utero babies that the babies are even born without scars. They're healing in utero. What this tells us is that we need to tend to things, our issues, at the deepest level while they're still in utero. Our repair will be so much a part of who we are that it will leave no scar. It's easier to bend underneath the surface in the deep, timeless fluid of the beginning than to break once fully grown. A lot of us are out here breaking to get up to the new program. And you already knew you could change under the surface before it got to that point. You already knew that there was room for you to change deep under your surface before it got to the surface, and you had to break that part of you or break relationships to begin the healing. It's too late for me, you say. I'm already fully grown. Not so. In the world of our inwardness, we are always growing and are blessed to carry that fluid that began within us. It's never out of reach. We can return and begin again by facing ourselves. In this way, we go below the hardened ways to the soft impulses that birthed them. Nothing got hard on day one, guys. Your feelings, your behaviors, your attitudes, the way you treat someone, it didn't get hard on day one. Day one, it was a soft impulse. Now that it's hardened, you got to break it. When we could have easily changed it scarlessly at the impulse level. Instead of breaking the bone of our stubbornness, we can nourish the marrow of our feeling. Instead of breaking the bone of our fear, we can cleanse the blood of our feeling. Instead of counting the scars from being hurt in the world, listen. You think Pops was hurt? You think Brock's mom was hurt? Do you think Brock was hurt? You know what we do? You kiss the scars. Instead of counting the scars from being hurt in the world, we can find and re-kiss the very spot in our soul where we began to lose trust. Thank you for letting me share all of that. We went very long today. We'll make up for it tomorrow with a couple more giveaways. I'll let you guys get out of here. You know a little bit more about Brock. You know a little more about his mom. You know a little bit more about me. And I want you to know a little bit more about yourself as a result. There's nothing that you're going through or haven't gone through that you don't both survive and surmount. Have a beautiful day. And love one another. Love your kids. Man, take care of your kids. Take care of your husbands and wives. Get off of this thing and just go tell somebody I love you. Make it unaccountable. I don't know why. I just got to tell you I love you. Spread something decent of yourself below the surface. Have a great day, you guys. Thank you so much for being here, listening to me. That was pure therapy for me this morning. And I shared a lot of that because Veterans Day is coming up. It's only a couple of days away. It was a very, very profound time in my life. We'll talk some more about that later. I'll give you guys a couple of great Marine stories. Hope Star. Laura, have a divine day. Hope Star. I love you. Two Hawks, there he is. Streety. Deborah, you're a pearl. Nurs, hi Nurs. B. Hendricks, thank you, my friend. CCS. And Jesus Christ in Australia, go pet a kangaroo. Carlotta, thank you, my sweetheart. D. Anderson, Mushy, I love you. Badgie, Cleany, Saskamo Joe. And Lexington Felix, I haven't seen you in a minute. Hi. Free, I love you, man. Thank you. File 135280. Not for a part of the day, not for just a little while, but all day. Let's do that, Danny Singleton. You know what you're going to do? You're going to go say someone, I love you. Nerd Nature, Carlotta. Carlotta just finished her assignment. And Cleany did too. You guys are cheating. You guys are doing it easy. Hags, I love you, my friend. I'm glad to hear that, my incredibly good friend. Danny and Michael Patterson, thank you, my sweet man. Married Michael, there she is, happy dirt dude. Mike Baraball and Two Hawks, and that's what it is, bro. We serve. Sportad, Justin Okaymed, Rosie, and Badgie. And I love Badgie. Nerdy. Carlotta, hair care. Moms, there you are, girl. Mizu and Jesus Christ. Carrie, keep smiling. Craigo, Ghastly, and Jolie. Jolie, I can't even talk without telling her how wonderful she is. Saturn, Deborah, Jimmy, the mini Max, CCS going hard. Carrie, Herbie Von Werby, Kabop, Shy, there's that handsome man. Billy D, and Mushmouth E, and Jesus Christ E, and Anthony. I know you do. And Lexington, and Jesus Christ, and Sportad, and CCS, and Carrie, and Jackson, and Mushy, and Summer Wheat, and Mike, and R&R, and Big Mike, and Jesus Christ, and P. Hendricks, and SSW he's sewing custom stuff all day. MDK, Mushmouth, MDK, P. Hendricks, Grady. I'll write back to you here in about half an hour, Grady. Mike Patterson, Shanti, out. Mike Baraball, Mushy. Mushy's doing no shave November, but he is allowed to wax, he said. SSW, MDK, D. Anderson, S. Martin, JC. Summer Wheat, thank you, my dear. Daniel Cunningham. Travis Howell, Sport Diddy Dad, D. Anderson, Mike Baraball, and married Michael, Pops Peace, Sport Dad, D. Anderson. Be kind. Kids, wife, husband, mom, dad, in that order. Out.